Welcome, everybody, to Phillies Unfiltered. Along with my co-host, Jim Russo, I'm Brent Tracy, and we are very excited to be coming to you on this Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there, especially my wife. And Jim, I'm sure you would like to wish someone a happy Mother's Day as well.
Happy Mother's Day to my darling wife, Ashley.
And happy Mother's Day, Bridget. So I just want to shout that out. Happy Mother's Day to my mother as well, and all the lovely ladies out there that I know who are moms. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. So, Jim, right now, as we record this, the Phillies are playing the Guardians on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. I cannot actually watch it because I don't have live TV. I have MLB TV, so it's blacked out for me. But I know you said you had it on. You were going to keep us posted.
I have it on right behind me. It's 1-0. I see Zach Wheeler walking off the field. Still,
Okay.
He's got about 50 pitches. I'm very happy with what he's done through 4. So let's hope he stays exactly what he's doing. Maybe the offense picks it up a little bit. Hey, as long as they end the game with a lead, I'm happy.
Well, I saw the replay of the Schwarber bomb, and that was a bomb. That was a nice long home run.
Towering blast. So
yeah, it was great.
Good way to start the night for them.
Well, I'm before we get into the recap of the week, I just wanted to ask you a fun question, as we like to do here to open things up. So first of all, how are you feeling right now? And then we'll get into it.
I'm feeling pretty confident. The offense is picking it up. The pitching's been consistent. I mean, there was the one bad game so far this week. It was a Thursday night was fun, but with Stott sending a blast out of the ballpark, and we both thought that game was over, and thankfully they came back and won it. But I'm happy. I'm if this game ends in a win tonight, being 5-1 through this road trip is a very, very successful week, especially against a difficult Guardians team. So I am feeling pretty good. How about you?
Same. Yeah. I mean, it's been a pretty good week. Yeah, it was a real stinker on Friday night, but they redeemed themselves last night. They really exploded again with the offense. And like you said, the pitching's been pretty good too, especially the starting pitching. So it's been a fairly fun week. We were a little pessimistic in that last Rays game. And then Stott kind of brought us out of it, and we were pretty excited there by the end. So that was good. But before we get into the Phillies and their week, I had a question for you, and
Sure.
I'll give my take on it too. But so when you played, many years ago, because we are pushing 40, we're getting up there, we're in our late 30s now.
Yes.
What position did you play, and did you pitch at any point? And if you did, what were the pitches that you kind of leaned on? What were the pitches that you used?
So I'm going to start with, I did pitch. I just wasn't a very good pitcher. So that
another thing we have in common.
So it was at a time where we weren't allowed to throw anything else. So I wasn't focusing on anything else. We didn't have the internet like we have now, so I couldn't research these things. Like my dad was a coach and didn't teach me how to pitch or like that. So I hit a kid in the face once. So I knew it wasn't
Rick Vaughn.
Yeah. So it's like, I remember the kid that I hit. I remember I had enough time to tell him to duck and he didn't. So that was a straw that broke the camel's back with the pitching. So I really love playing the infield. Even when I play slow pitch softball. I'm in the infield. I just love being up front, Second base was was a big spot for me. I guess because I was smaller. But I really enjoyed playing third. I enjoyed playing shortstop. And honestly, I played outfield too. I was in right field a lot. My arm was a factor there, so it was nice to get to show that off on occasion. But I just I would shag a pop up, shag fly balls all day. Like, you can hit me a fly ball, a pop up, I'm under it
Yeah.
99% of the time. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I realized as I gotten older, I've gotten better with the glove, and I just wish I could have known these things when I was younger.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Um,
feel you on that.
As,
Absolutely.
so yeah, as far as pitching goes, I'm learning more now. Like I've just been tinkering with some things, like just so that way, maybe if Noah wants to pitch eventually, I can teach him a few things. I threw a really
Yep.
nice curveball today when I was having a catch with Noah. It was like the first really good one that I've thrown maybe ever. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I figured out a good grip for me.
Hmm.
I figured out like a fork ball type pitch too, which is
Hmm.
pretty cool.
Nice. That's cool.
What you
Yeah. I
got?
mean, yeah. I mean, so kind of the same as you in a lot of ways. I was not a hard thrower, so I didn't.
Right.
A lot of coaches wanted the velocity, and at that point, like you were saying, you couldn't really research stuff like you can now with the internet and pitch grips and that kind of thing. So I didn't throw a real hard fastball. So I got knocked around. Like I was not a durable pitcher. It wasn't
Mm,
until the end of like little league my coach figured out I was a good closer because I could go for like that bottom of that the sixth inning.
okay.
I would come in and I was pretty effective as a closer, but beyond an inning, I just lost durability. Like I couldn't really go beyond that as a pitcher. And again, it wasn't fastballs. I had a pretty good changeup, and I went to an instructor for hitting and a little
Okay.
bit of pitching, and he taught me a cut fastball, which was fairly effective. It actually kind of turned into a curveball, kind of earlier than my arm was probably ready for. But thankfully, I didn't do a ton of damage to my arm because I didn't pitch that much. But
Mm,
it became like a 12-6 curveball, and it really threw
nice.
people off because at that age nobody was throwing that. Everybody was just pumping heat, and you were
Mm,
just relying on your fastball. But for me, it was a four seamer change up, and then that cutter that turned into kind of a curveball. And
all
that
right.
was cool. But I yeah, I wasn't really a really good pitcher. I didn't other than an occasional bring in to close. I was not out there starting games. Was not a good thing for me. But like you were saying, your second base, shortstop was my
Yes.
thing. I was really good there. I would love to steal a hit over getting a hit myself any day. I really enjoyed it. I played center field too when
Yeah.
I was a little bit younger, so a lot of middle of the field. I did some second base too on teams when I maybe was younger, like one of the younger guys on like a school team. So
Mm,
if they had a shortstop, I would play a lot of second base. So a lot of middle of the field stuff. Really love turning double plays, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was a lot of fun playing up the middle, and I love playing shortstop. To your point about the pop ups, I like to do. I had a tennis ball, and I would throw it off the side of my parents' house. It was a brick wall,
mm,
and I practiced in the summertime like all day. I had my glove on me. I was constantly like throwing balls off the wall to ground balls, and I got really good with the glove. So that was what I prided myself on in baseball. I was a pretty good hitter, but I was like really good with the glove, and that's something I really prided
right.
myself on.
Yeah. The hitting stops for me. So that was the end of the line. Yeah, once the breaking
Well,
pitches came in, I was done. I mean, it was Greg Gross could not teach me how to hit a
I
curveball. That's
remember
for
you
sure.
saying that, yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I kind of taught myself how to switch hit, but like in the backyard. It wasn't until too late though to implement it in real games, unfortunately. Whereas my son Calder, he picked it up. I was going to teach him, but he kind of started it on his own. And we actually just had a game on Saturday, and he's in t-ball, but we kind of are moving to underhand pitching already. That's we try
okay.
to get them into that, and he likes to do bat left, then right, then left. He's naturally better left-handed, but he
All
insists he
right.
wants to work on the right hand. He has a little more power from the right side, but his contact is definitely solid from the left. He's really good at making contact. A lot of
Nice.
up the middle hits. It's exactly what you want, right?
Yeah.
Right up the middle. Line drives, ground balls up the middle, and I keep telling him that's where you want to live, right?
Mm,
That's you want to be through the ball up the middle. But yeah, he's pretty good with the glove too. So I mean, he's got more, and I think he's going to be a better pitcher than I was. He's already tried it, and he's
I mean,
he's got like an engineering mind, so he
okay.
likes to play with the grips on the ball. He's already very fascinated with what the grips on the ball can do to it. And I mean, he throws harder than I think, certainly than I did, even at 8 years old, and he's not even 7 yet. So he'll have a little probably more velocity, but I think he already has a concept of how to use the seams to make the ball do different things. He asked me to teach him a curveball. I said, not doing
No,
that until you're 13 years old, man. Your arm
not
needs
until
to,
you're
you get into
developed.
Babe
Yeah,
Ruth at least. Yeah.
right.
I'm like, not doing it. I'll teach you a change up,
There's
but right now you just need to focus on the four seamer, get the ball over the plate, and when kid pitch starts in a couple years, you'll be ready.
Yeah,
So
that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
it will.
All
So,
right.
but anyway, yeah, let's get into it. Like you said, it was a good week for the most part. I mean, we had that one loss on Saturday, but outside of that, offensive has been explosive, power, contact. Everybody seems to be contributing, which is a great sign.
Mhm.
Um, so I guess with that said, let's get into it. What do we have for studs and duds this week? I'm very curious.
It's a toss up here. I'm gonna go offense. Trey's been hitting the ball. He's getting
Yeah,
on
yeah,
base.
yep.
It, it, he's sure I'd like to see some power. Sure, that home run he hit was great. He almost had another one
An
on
almost
Thursday.
homer, yeah.
Literally almost. But he's coming around. He's making good contact. He's hitting the ball
Hmm.
hard, and he's getting on base. So that's exactly what he's supposed to do. And he needs to use his legs, and hopefully he starts using them a little bit more. It was either
Yeah.
going to be him or Bryson Stott, but I think Trey deserved his moment here.
Yeah, I think that's a fair one. I mean, he's batting 318 on the season right
It's
now.
really
That's
really
that's
nice.
that's really good. You'd love to see it. And I hear you on the power, but honestly, if he and Stock can keep doing what they're doing, setting the table, I'm okay with it as it is right now. I mean, yeah, I'd like to see a little more pop out of him, but if we're getting first and third, first and second with the two of them, the guys that are coming up behind them, it's going to do damage eventually. And so anyway, I think that's a great call. But curious what your dud is though.
I I'm very happy with this week. So it's really difficult for me to pick a dud. Uh,
That's a good sign.
so I mean, if I have to throw like if I have to put my hand in a hat and pick one, Carlos Hernandez. He's still
Yeah.
not very good.
I throw him out there too every time. I
so,
can't stand him, man.
it's like he's our fall guy for
Yeah.
this. Like, sorry, Carlos. I know nothing about you personally, but yeah, it's like last one in. You're gonna be the scapegoat for me. Yeah, I'm happy with this week so far. There wasn't much to be negative about.
That's fair. Yeah. I can't disagree with the sentiment. I do have a couple potential candidates
Okay,
for dud, but I'll start with a stud. The stud for me, because I had Turner as a possibility, but I'm going to go with Ranger Suarez.
all right.
He had a great bounce back
He
after
did.
that rough outing against the Diamondbacks. 7 innings, 3 hits, no runs allowed, and 5 Ks. I loved that. I loved he looked like the old Ranger. He looked healthy. He looked comfortable, and can you just, I mean, imagine if these guys can stay healthy and keep pitching at this level, we're going to win a lot of baseball
Yes, we
games.
are.
And and I love it because when Painter comes up, you're going to have we talked about this. It's a good problem to have if all these guys are healthy and pitching well. You're going to have to make some decisions about where to put them. But right now, I mean, I love to see it. And I mean, who knows? Ranger could come out next time and have a dud. Who knows? He might have a rough outing, but that was a great sign. I mean, it
It
was like
was.
night and day from the two
Uh,
starts, and I loved seeing how he was. 7 innings is not nothing
Don't
in this
forget the
day and
pitch
age.
count then too. Like
Yeah,
he was
yeah.
low. He had maybe 80 pitches through seven. That's
Yeah,
fantastic for anybody
the
at this
only
point.
reason I think they took him out was because of the lead, and two, because they were up to bat for so long and he had sat for so long. I think that's
I,
really more of what went into that decision. And I can't disagree with Topper on that. I think that makes sense. You don't want to send him back out there with his
right.
muscles kind of
It's,
tightened up and
it's fine by
risk
me.
injury. Yeah, 7 innings is more than enough. But I think an honorable mention for me would be Taiwan with that three
Yes.
inning save.
Yes, he was
That was
fantastic.
hugely amazing to see because if he can, and we talked about it last week. I was a little skeptical about like how's he going to transition into the pen from being a starter, but he looks the same. I mean, he looked good. He was pumped up. He was showing emotion at the end of
Yeah.
that game. You could tell he felt good about himself.
So
That we talked about it. That could be a huge weapon in the bullpen. If you have a guy like Taiwan who can go 2 or 3 innings in relief, that would be a huge
so,
weapon.
so that's a shout out to your buddy Mike,
Yeah.
who asked me to give
If
Taiwan his
Taiwan.
flowers. That is the third time at least that we've mentioned Taiwan in a positive way throughout
Hey,
these recordings. I'm happy. So
this is
there you go, Mike.
Phillies. This is Phillies unfiltered. We're going to give it to you straight. And if he's doing well, we're going to give it to you straight.
Yes,
He deserves the accolades.
yes,
If
absolutely.
someone's not doing well, we're going to give it to you straight the same way. So, but yes, Mike, that's for you. Taiwan is well deserving of the accolades right now, and I hope he keeps it up.
Me too.
Um, so going on to the dud, I had a couple possibilities. I thought about Orion Kirkring, and this is more of a totality thing, not necessarily of like this specific week, but
Hmm.
he's just walking a lot of guys.
Yes.
The walk to strike ratio or the strikeouts to walk ratio is 14-9 right now, which is
Eh,
not good, and he's giving up a hit per inning. Basically, every inning he's pitched, he has given up one hit. What it averages out to, which that's not great either. But for me, a bigger concern is Rafael Marchan.
Okay.
Um, and I know some people out there are going to be like, "Oh, JT's your starting catcher. Who cares? It's a backup catcher." It is important because that's the whole reason that we brought him up and sent Stubbs down because we
Right.
needed more production out of that spot. We're not getting it. He's batting
He's
087 right
right.
now.
Bad.
Stubby would be batting at least 125.
I
um,
mean, he would be getting on base maybe a little bit more.
with his bunts.
With his
Yeah,
bunt
yeah.
singles, yes, and his wacky way of running. But I'll take it.
Exactly. But I mean, it's not for me. It's and I know you've pointed out the hitting, but for me, it's also the throwing. He's made some really bad throws
It's
from
also
back there, and that soar into center field or bounce 3 feet in front of Stott or Turner, and that was one thing. It was like, okay, well, he's really good behind the plate. He'll find his footing as a hitter. He's not doing either one, and I don't think the answer is to bring Stubbs up. I don't
yeah,
think that's not what I'm saying, but I was hopeful that Marchand, when given chances, would show signs of being a productive hitter and a good catcher behind the plate. I'm not seeing either one, and it's concerning because JT is no spring chicken anymore,
right.
and we need to start thinking about who his replacement's going to be. And right now,
He's down in the minors, and it's not Garrett Stubbs. Was it? Was
yeah,
it
it's what's it,
Tate?
Tate or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that guy.
I think
He's
that's it.
20, but we'll see him in a couple years. It's too soon for him now.
Yeah, and I mean JT still got some time, but I know the goal was to give him to dial him back, and I'm looking at it. They really haven't dialed him back as much as I expected them to.
I mean,
I
he's
mean,
coming
Marchand has
around.
not played as much as I thought he would. It seemed like JT was going to get a day or two per week off, and he's really only getting a day a week off at this point. So, I mean, he's holding up. He seems healthy, which is great. But anyway, that's mine. I don't like what I'm seeing from Marchand.
I
I
can
need to see him
agree.
perform better. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I mean,
So
he didn't play enough this week for me to give him a dud. I overall, yeah, he's been a
I
dud.
think
But
that's
this
what I'm
particular
going on,
week,
really.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. And for me, I guess I cheated a little bit because it's
it's
really not just the
fine.
week; it's kind of the
It
whole
was
season,
it was a light week for duds.
right? And that's why I had to get creative. But
I'll take it. That's
um,
fair.
so so that being said, we went to some individuals. Let's go to the team aspect. What are you seeing for pros and cons this week?
7+ runs breeds wins.
Yep,
That's a winning formula. They've done it 5 times this week, roughly. Was it?
five out of the 6 games.
That
Yeah,
is amazing. I can't be. I'm not disappointed at all. Like that's exactly what we need to see. Sure, I'd like it to see a little more than just one inning of that. Like they
yeah.
explode for one inning and they get to 7 runs. I'd like to see some crooked numbers across like the third inning, the fourth inning, the sixth inning, rather than just
Yeah.
one big inning. Hey, sure, great, that's wonderful, but I'd like to see an offensive explosion, like how the Padres put up 21 runs last night. But that is the
Yeah, but they
Rockies.
lost to the Rockies today.
I didn't even realize. Um, but it's the offense looks really good. Zach Wheeler looks phenomenal. Sanchez looks really good. So the starting pitching has been doing really well. Nola did not have a very good start, and Ranger start on Saturday was fun to watch. That was
Yeah.
classic Ranger. Um, so starting pitching great, offense great. I'm very happy with that for the most part. So we're looking good, and Schwarber is getting on base literally every single game,
Yeah, going
and
back to last year.
and it's him in the four hole is exactly where he needs to be.
Yep.
And the lineup construction is very good. Um, I the weak link is Rojas and Marsh, and they've been turning it on a little bit this week.
Marsh really has come back. I mean, he had that big hit in Tampa
Yes.
in the extra innings. I mean, he's been pretty good since coming back. I mean, there was that one we talked about it, that strikeout where you watch the ball go right down the middle, I think. But
Yeah, I mean that
um,
happens too much for Marsh. He looks at way
yeah,
too his plate vision is just god awful at times. Like he's looking at a pitch down the chute, and
yeah,
he should be driving it the other way or roping it down the line. Like, come on.
yeah. Well, and we talked about this ad nauseum here, I think, but I mean, that position is a position of weakness, the center field spot. I mean, we have not gotten consistent production from either one of those guys, and I don't expect we will for a long period of time. It's going to be a platoon thing until either Crawford gets called up or I don't know, they trade for some. I don't love the idea of trading for someone when you have Crawford waiting in the wings. I think that's a waste.
Mhm.
Um, I just think that's stupid. I've been seeing since last year the rumors of Luis Robert or Robert. I don't even know how you pronounce this, from Chicago.
Bob,
The
yeah. So
guy's
it's
he's injured constantly and he's not doing that well. Now I know you
uh,
could say, oh, he's on a bad team and he doesn't have any protection. Fine,
so,
but why are you going to give up two or three
so
prospects for a guy who might be helpful?
a problem with him too is effort. He doesn't always put that
Yeah.
in there when the team's not doing well. He's clearly not trying as hard. Yeah, and
If
it's
I'm
alarming. I'm saying,
Dombrowski,
stay
I'm not
away,
pulling the trigger on any
stay
kind of
away.
deal. Yeah. I'm not pulling the trigger on any kind of deal like that. I'm waiting for Crawford. And again, I think the way Crawford's hitting and playing, I think he could be ready this year. I mean, we've talked about
I
it. I,
do.
I wouldn't be
Well,
afraid to bring him up if we have to.
so
So
I think Kyle's seeing some bad strikes right now. They've been talking to the ump a few times. They're literally showing the umpire cam.
no.
Yeah. So I mean, they had Trey talking to the ump earlier. Like you see him in his face. Now Kyle just did the same thing. Sorry, I was a little distracted there.
No, that's okay.
But I mean, right now Rojas and Marsh may be delaying Justin Crawford just slightly because they're
Yeah, they're
performing.
doing enough to
They're doing
stave him
enough.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I mean, that's okay as long as we're winning games. I want
Yeah.
Crawford up here, and I think still before the end of the year he will be out there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Marsh is injury prone. It wouldn't shock me if he
True.
got dinged up again. I mean, it happens. But anyway, for me, I'm just going to say I'm kind of in line with you. The offense scoring 7 runs in 5 of the last 6 games. That's really helpful in getting wins because when you score that much, you're going to win games, especially when you have the starting pitching, which brings me to my next pro. Starting pitching, giving up, 1, 2, 3 runs, going 6, 7 innings, and then you combine that with 7 runs from the offense. That's a really tough formula to beat. So
Right.
I'm pretty happy with that. So those are my pros. My con would be honestly the defense is very inconsistent. I mean, Trey. On one hand, Trey will make a great play, and then literally the next inning he throws the ball across the diamond and it's just like way offline, or he boots a ball. Bohm's throws that we've talked about are no better than Trey's. Um, you know, Kepler, on the other hand, I will say, as talking about team defense, he's played a really good left field. I mean, he's made
Yes.
some really nice
Yes.
plays out there. Casty has always been
Did,
solid as a right fielder since he's been with us.
did you see that throw he made? Was it yesterday? To
Who
get
was that kid?
Santana out at third?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
It
yeah.
was
Yeah, no,
fantastic.
I mean, the outfield isn't my concern. The infield defense is, and it's led by Turner mostly because
It's the left
again,
side.
it's the left side. But again, talked about at the top. I was a shortstop. I take that very seriously. I mean, I said it to you earlier this week. There was a play where Trey went up the middle, spun, and threw the ball, and it took like a 2 or 3 hopper to Bryce. And I'm like, dude, you're not going to get a major
J-Roll
league
makes that
baseball
play.
player. And I said J-Roll makes that play, and you're like, well, yeah, J-Roll was elite. I'm like, well, but that's my point. Like, you need an elite defender at that position,
I,
I think. I mean, you can't get by with a guy who, yeah, admittedly, he's hitting the ball. I mean, and that's I get that's what we got him for. But at some point, he's got to make the
so
move to the outfield
they
because,
right
you know,
they have an elite shortstop. He's at second base.
I know, but then you need
So
to fill that spot with someone who can defend too. It's a
yeah.
push pull thing where you're just you pull the blanket over and then the other side of it's like the whole thing.
Right. I mean, you can secure the left side just a little bit, but
Well, Miller you'll have coming up, and Bohm,
yeah.
I think we all expect he'll likely be gone. But again, yeah, if Miller comes up, you put him at third, you still have that same issue. So, and we talked about Kemp, you and I did, not on the podcast, but
Mhm.
texting. And Kemp is a great hitter right now. I mean, he's like
It's
the
really good.
term you used, he's raking, but his defense is the same level as Bohm's, maybe not even quite as good with the glove. But so I don't know that that fixes a problem other than you might get a little bit more power in that position, which, maybe
Be
that's worth the
nice.
trade-off. I don't know. It's something to think about, but the shortstop position needs to be improved defensively. That is I will die on that hill.
It will
Um,
be
you know,
eventually.
yeah, I know, but I hate seeing fairly routine plays just not made. And then, like I said, even those ones up the middle with the spin throws and stuff, J-Roll, I mean, it was just like you weren't worried. You knew if he got his glove on the ball, he was going to make the throw and get the guy
Yeah.
out. It was just, it was a given. And now it's like, even if Trey makes the play and he has the ball in his hand, I'm like cringing when he or Bohm throw the ball across that diamond because you don't know if it's going to make it there or if it does, it's going to get there in time. But to what you're saying, Stott is, I mean, he's a good defender. He makes some really good plays and he has a
Better than
strong
good.
arm.
Better than good,
Yeah.
for sure.
No, he's great. He's a great defender. I like watching Bryson play defense and hit when he's hitting bombs like he did in Tampa.
That's
Yeah. So,
I,
um,
still my
but
current
yeah,
favorite
so
Philly.
it's fair. He's up there for me too. Um, so I think we talked about Marchan. I don't want to, I had that on the list of things to discuss, and we just kind of talked about it. I don't want to beat a
Yeah,
dead
it's
horse there.
enough.
We definitely need to see better performance out of
We
him.
do.
The other thing that I think we need to kind of touch on, and we maybe talked about it a bit last week, is Bryce Harper. Um, you know, kind of going through it. He had a good night last night. Obviously, I think he had 3 hits, and
Yes.
he talked about it after the game. He said the guys have been picking him up, and he wants to be. He knows he can hit better and that he is better. And I'm still not worried about him, but I will say he's been late on fastballs, like 96-mile-an-hour fastball right down the middle. That should be crushed by him every time. Like, you expect a guy like Bryce to square that up without
Right.
issue. But
You
right
do.
now he's late on every fastball pretty much. It's almost like he's worried about pulling off the ball, so he's trying to go the other way with pitches he should be driving up the middle or pulling. I mean, I don't know what's your take on that because
I,
it's just kind of odd.
I still think he just needs a day. Like, give him
Yeah,
a full day off of his feet,
right.
off out of his
No,
head, out of the
no
batter's box.
DHing.
No,
Yeah.
nothing. And every time that I feel like it should happen, this is when he hits a home run, he drills a
Hmm.
double off the wall. I would have yesterday. I would have had Bohm at first and put Sosa at third, and just sit Bryce for the day. It's. But
Well,
I mean,
I
I'm
think
glad he did what he did yesterday. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, he does. I think he does need a day.
He's tired.
Um, he maybe, yeah. And I mean, I don't know. There's just something. It's a long season. I mean, he'll be go through a streak where he goes on a tear. He will, but it's just odd. I don't think I've ever seen this really where he's this late on like I said on straight fastballs. Not even like ones that are tail like two seamers. Like, we're talking straight four seam fastballs with very little movement other than just velocity, and that's usually his bread and butter. So we'll keep an eye on that. I think it's something to monitor or not worry about, but just monitor. You know.
Right.
Um,
It was trouble. It was troublesome. It was noticeable. Hopefully he starts getting that timing or better. And maybe get started a little bit earlier so that way he can catch up.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure he'll make the adjustments. He always does. So I'm
He has a
not, like I
plan.
said, not worried. not worried. Just a little disappointed
Yeah,
and
like it's
bothered by it.
that's your mega superstar. He needs
Right.
to show it, right?
Yep. Yeah. So we'll see how that shakes out. The other thing, and I think we talked about this at the top, was Stott and Turner setting the table um, at the top of that lineup. I think that is the biggest key to why this offense is performing at the level we know they're capable of.
Agree.
Is that change of having Stott lead off and Turner batting second, because I don't think Turner is a prototypical leadoff hitter. I don't think he likes taking pitches. We've talked about why Stott's the perfect leadoff hitter. He takes pitches, he takes
Yes.
walks, he's got speed. And I would argue Stott's a more dangerous base runner than Turner right now.
At this
Turner's been
point,
getting
yes.
kind of thrown out, and yeah, his speed's not what it used to be. He's still not slow, but he's not what he used to
He's not
be.
electric right
But
now.
no, but if he's making contact, the two of them walking, getting singles, line drive singles, ground ball singles, setting the table for Harper, Schwarber, Casty, Kepler. That's the formula to win games. And it's the formula to win games in the long term, in my opinion,
Mhm.
because that's what they've been lacking. Having Kyle lead off, I think in the playoffs has hurt them in the past because yeah, he could hit you a home run, but 1-0's not winning you a playoff game. You need to continue scoring, and this is the formula for doing that. You have these guys getting on base so that when you do hit a double or a home run, you're maximizing the runs that come in on that, not just getting a solo. And we've talked
Right.
about this, since since spring training we were advocating for this. I feel vindicated. I think
Me
you should
too.
too.
This is
That
literally my
we
lineup.
I mean, I've read articles, man. I've read articles this week saying that that is a huge key at why this team has become one of the most dangerous
Absolutely.
offensive teams over the past three
And
weeks
and
because of that change.
and you were saying about Stott takes pitches. He's up. I think it was second in the major leagues in pitches seen per at bat. That's huge
Yep,
to start a game. He's looking at
absolutely.
he's seeing 6 pitches, 7 pitches in the first at bat of the game. So he's tiring out the pitcher real early. He's seeing everything. So he should be helping Turner. He should be helping Harper, helping Schwarber in
Yep,
that sense. It's
yep.
he is the best leadoff hitter on this team right now. I don't need power at the top. I need a guy who gets on base. Bryson Stott walks. Bryson Stott hits singles. He hits the long ball too if he needs to. And
Yeah.
you get it in his wheelhouse and he can drill the thing. So
That ball down by his knees, down and in,
it's his
don't
happy
do that
place.
because he is going to hit it into the second deck of whatever stadium he's in. Unless you're in the Tampa Bay Stadium, that's a minor league stadium right now, then it's going
Right.
to go wherever it goes.
Yeah.
But you get my point. That is his wheelhouse, and when it's down there at his knees, down and in, he's a typical left-handed hitter that way. Loves it.
Yeah, he's I've mentioned it before. He's my current favorite Philly. I just love watching him play. Not the best
Yeah.
interview. He's a little boring, honestly. He's not.
I
He
think
hasn't.
he's a shy. He and
Probably.
Turner are very quiet and shy
Yes.
guys. They're
So
not outgoing. Yeah.
so the broadcast tonight, they interviewed Bryson, and
No.
it didn't do much for me. He's not as entertaining as my good buddy Brandon Marsh is.
Well, Marsh, Schwarber has
Yeah.
always got some
Yeah.
nice humor in him, and Bryce is serious, but he's interesting when they do the interviews with him. He's
Right.
likes to geek out about the game and
Yeah.
talk a lot about the game. And I don't think Bohm is all that exciting either when he gets
No.
interviewed. He's pretty dry. JT's a good interview, even though he's serious. He, again, kind of likes to
He-
geek out about the mental part of the game, and I think he's going to be a great coach
I
someday.
was just thinking that too. Yeah, he's got the right mind for it.
But that's a catcher, right?
Yeah.
Catchers are usually one of the smartest players, if not the smartest player on the team. They see everything. They have a very unique vantage point on the field. And when I played, I mean, a lot of the smartest guys, I knew them in school too, obviously, but they were smarter. They were some of the smarter
We're able
people
to
because
analyze.
you have to think about what pitches you're going to call, where the defense maybe needs to line up. You think about the game differently than almost any other position. But JT, great athlete, very smart guy, and he's like the dad of the team. I always just
Yeah.
see you can tell he can be a fun dad, but also he's like, let's keep it business, guys. We got to win some ball games.
Right.
I like that. So anyway, but yeah, so I think Stott and Turner at the top has been amazing. And then, I think we talked about this too, but during that Rays series, I had so much fun watching how they just played as a team. They all contributed. Not one person was looking terrible. Even Bryce was getting hits. Like yeah,
Hmm.
he wasn't. He wasn't pulling the ball a lot, but he had some nice line drive doubles. He was getting some singles too. Um, everybody was just hitting the ball, and they were taking
Right.
advantage of their
Well,
opportunities, which was great.
and look at the scores: 8-4,
Yeah.
7-0, 7-6. We had to come back and win. That
Yep.
was awesome. But you're putting up a lot of runs, and like I said, that's a winning formula. You're going to win a lot of games. You're putting up 7-8 runs a game.
Well, and that's what
So
they're built for.
yes, they're supposed to be potent. They're supposed to be like electric and powerful. So I mean, they're not always doing it with a home run, and that's great. They need to play some small ball and need to manufacture some runs here and there.
Yep. You have to be able to do both. We've seen it. I mean, you really there's going to be times when the power's not there for whatever reason. You just maybe the weather, maybe the ballparks you're playing in, whatever it is, but you got to find ways to manufacture runs sometimes, and they are figuring that out. And I'll keep sounding like a broken record. It goes back to getting guys on base at the top of that lineup. You can't score runs if you don't have runners on base. Yeah, you can hit solo home runs, but those don't win you games
So,
usually. So,
so all right. So Zach Wheeler just struck out Carlos Santana with a little bit of a jam, first and second,
nice.
and 2 outs. So he's doing his
Through
thing
the sixth?
through the
Sixth?
sixth. He's 80 some pitches, quite a lot. So
I
we'll
love
probably
it.
get
So
another
you're
inning out of
looking
him.
at another, yeah, you're looking at another potentially 7 inning outing from a starting pitcher. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
you gotta love that. You gotta
so
love that.
let's get Jose out there tonight, and who's going to pitch the eighth is my question. So we'll
I
see.
guess we'll see. Apparently, Taiwan is. I mean, Taiwan's available now, so we'll see if maybe Rob
Maybe
goes for give him an inning
high
because they
leverage.
did
We'll
what they
see.
did. Well, they did want to see him in a 1 inning opportunity because he's obviously not going to have all of his outings aren't going to be 2 or 3 inning outings. They're going to need him to come in for an inning, sometimes. So
Yep,
we'll see.
indeed.
But so now we're gonna shift gears a little bit.
All right.
We're gonna do one of our occasional segments, Kids Corner, and this week we asked our kids what do they hear Dad say while watching the Phillies. So
Let's take a listen to that.
let's take a listen.
So I'm here with Noah tonight. How are you, Noah?
I'm doing fine.
So I'm going to ask you, what is something that you hear me say during Phillies games? Just remember, this is a family program.
So when I hear you say a lot of things repeatedly, but what you say a lot is what are you swinging at, and specifically what are you swinging at, Nikki? But anyways, go Phillies.
Okay, I am here with Breyer, Emerson, and Calder, and I'm going to ask them a question for Kids Corner. So, Breyer, when I'm watching the Phillies, what's something you hear me say?
That can't happen.
Okay. And Emerson, when I'm watching the Phillies game, what's something you hear me say?
You gotta make that play.
Very good. Okay. And Calder, when I'm watching the Phillies, what's something you hear me say?
Come on, Harper.
All right, there you go.
All right. That's some good stuff right there, isn't it?
They the whole phrase "they say the darnest things"
Yes.
is true. So yeah, we're gonna do that a little more. We got Breyer involved this time, my youngest, and
Love it.
she was very put out that she was not involved before she heard the podcast because Calder wanted it in the car, and why am I not on the podcast? And she's 4 and doesn't fully, I don't think, understand the concept of what this is, but she wanted to be involved, and I gotta say, I think she stepped up and she did that. She was like a pro. She's kind of on
Kudos.
our level already.
There,
Yeah,
there
I
you
think
go.
she's
Love
ready
it.
to.
She's got a future.
So, yeah, maybe she does. So, but everybody did a great job. Everybody did a great job. So now I think that brings us to Jim's favorite
It's that
segment.
time. It's Guess That Phillie. All right, let me just pull up my information here on this guy.
I need to redeem myself. I have had a bad couple of weeks giving and attempting to guess the Philly, giving the Guess That Philly and trying to guess.
I think you get this one tonight. I really do.
All right, we'll see.
So this guy spent 15 years in the majors, which is a nice long career. Only 2 of those years were in the National League. He spent one of those years with our Phillies.
Okay.
So we acquired this pitcher via trade in 2007. He had a 1-5 record with the Phillies with a 5.90 ERA.
Okay. It's high.
Yes, it was high. I had high hopes for this guy. He was really good with the teams that he pitched for previously. He was the ERA leader in 2001 with the Seattle Mariners.
Okay.
So I have the who they traded for him.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready, I think this is going to give it away.
Well, we'll see.
All right, so the Philadelphia Phillies traded a prospect and a guy who had a start or two, it seemed, with our Phillies to the White Sox. It was Gio Gonzalez and Gavin Floyd.
Gavin Floyd. Okay. Oh, okay. Freddie Garcia.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I knew you were going to get that one tonight.
Yeah, you're right. I do remember the hype when we got him, and then did he get hurt? I don't remember exactly what happened.
It might have been a shoulder thing. I feel like it was. He was hurt pretty often when he was with us. At least I guess he was getting. Yeah. He was only 30 years old when we acquired him.
Yeah, he wasn't that old. I remember him kind of coming off the prime of his career when we got him, as I recall. So, but
the only thing I remember, like with Gavin Floyd, we had high hopes for him. Was he was the pitcher when Aaron Rowand smashed his face in the center field fence.
That's a good bit of trivia because I did not realize that. I remember the smashing into the wall, and then the for who my teammates for that whole post-game interview.
I'll never forget the Harry call for that. Like with possible game-saving catches, it was brilliant.
And you know what they did after that? They put the padding on there because it was an exposed metal bar that he smashed his nose into.
Thank you, Aaron Rowand, for giving it all for this team. Unfortunately, we couldn't win when he was here, but he got his World Series ring. So
that's right. Yeah,
he did with the Giants. But good work tonight on Guess That Philly.
Yeah, thank you. I made a little bit of I'm back on track. Hopefully, we'll see. But that was a good one. I haven't thought about Freddie Garcia in quite a while.
Yes. So before we wrap it up, the Phillies are currently winning 1-0 in the top of the 7th. JT just struck out. But it's nice to have the game on. I'd prefer watching the game beforehand, but. I know, but sometimes these things happen where they have the broadcast that I'm not a big fan of, the ESPN broadcast, which we mentioned before when we had that little segment. But that wraps us up for the night. Don't forget to listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcast at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, Facebook at Phillies Unfiltered Podcast, Instagram at Phillies Unfiltered, X/Twitter at FunFilter. Don't forget that is PhunPhiltered. And YouTube as well, Phillies Unfiltered Podcast.
Yep. All right. Good job. I love it. And I just want to thank everybody for continuing to support us and listen to us. We love doing this, and I keep seeing our follower numbers grow, and we appreciate it. And again, like Jim has said before, if you have anything that you'd like us to talk about or to discuss on here, don't be shy. Shoot us a message. Let us know. We'd be happy to discuss anything Phillies or baseball related on here that you guys would like to hear us talk about. So,
all right.
With that, thank you all. And Jim,
you know what? Go Phils.
Go Phils. Have a good night, everybody.
See ya.